Okay, Chicago, we are here, and when I say me, Queen Kee-Kee and Big Ron are on our journey to work out, but my mind, muscle, and brain is giving me a workout going to the actual workout here at Sherman Park. So I decided to turn the video camera on a little bit early so I can reveal the bombs I'm about to drop on y'all about this TV-Commentary incident that has made national news right now. Well, as you can see, it's a very beautiful day out here. You got the young lovebirds on the boardwalk and Shorty with a hoodie on. But I don't think he's on the bandwagon the same way as I definitely send my condolences out to the family for the loss of their loved one. But at the same time, the manner in which this movement is growing is a little disturbing to me because it seems as if it's just a bandwagon jump on for the death of TrayVon. And the reason why I say a bandwagon is because it is not being followed through and used by many as a symbol to respect the life of a young African-American male in 2012 when we have a lot of other incidents and right here locally in Chicago that involve innocent victims being killed at the hands of officials such as police or for, as Ronald said, a recommendation out here in the streets of Chicago. The young lady on the west side of Chicago that got shot in her head and her boyfriend in his hand by an off-duty police officer. I think the march that was conducted in TrayVon's honor without being in the honor of that young lady here that was killed locally mysteriously, and another victim that was shot and killed by the police and on the south side that was coming out of an abandoned building, and others. But those are the two most recent. So to get on the bandwagon and throw on a hoodie and say you are TrayVon, you have to understand what you are representing, and that message has not been clarified and made with clarity in the national news media by our leaders, by others that want to represent themselves as leaders, and those organizations who are jumping to the defense of what occurred there and has not taken place there on the justice side for a young African-American male that was murdered in Florida. We're in Chicago, so we need to definitely clean up our own backyard before we start expecting changes in other states that don't have anything to do with us legally. So this is a waste of energy when we can definitely focus our energy on the pressing issues here with the lack of funds and misuse of funds in Chicago public schools. I haven't seen any marches galvanized regarding that. I haven't seen any marches galvanized, as I said, for the young lady that got shot in the head. I haven't seen that. So
they got a whole bunch of books.
Exactly. So the symbol that could be used for the books being needed in the schools would be the current books that a lot of the Chicago public school students currently have, which is outdated or been in usage since we as 40-year-old generation members had used when we attended grammar schools. So this is unacceptable. They have libraries with no computers in a lot of Chicago public schools. I mean, if you visit a Chicago public school in your area, it is really archaic to what you would see when you go into an area that has rebuilt their schools and renamed them charter schools. There's definitely more resources when there should be the same there in Chicago public schools. And I don't see anyone marching here in Chicago about that. So that's one thing. Another second thing, when I say jumping on the bandwagon, know what you're jumping on, where it's going to end up at. The other note that has me disturbed is the fact that today a news report came out saying that a serial robber is on the north side area robbing people at knife point. And in the description of this robber, it is used as wearing a hoodie. So, in essence, in any way that we get around that, what symbols we use to project image is definitely something that has to be considered and was not considered when coming up with what should be the iconic figure to represent Trayvon. And a hoodie definitely does, if with anyone, raises suspicion in a person when you see not only a black male, but any person with a hoodie on approaching you in dark areas. So therefore, the topic of that is the racial profiling, not using the symbol of the hoodie as something that is sacred, which can always be misused as it is illustrated in the description of a knife point robber. So now it has people in the quandary to wonder, do I look at someone in a hoodie and let down my guard? Or when I see someone in a hoodie, do I put up my guard? That's all choices and decisions that one would have to make when they are put in that situation and faced with someone in that description of gear, what they would be wearing, clothing. So, once again, we have jumped the gun and went overboard and did too much extra that has something slightly to do with Chicago residents, but mainly not that much. Now, the other person I want us to support and get on a movement for is the 81-year-old man who defended his household with a gun, which leads me to my topical subject of Father Flager and his youth group who are advocating that we abolish all gun laws and have guns out of the hands of citizens to protect themselves. And that's why I believe we need to support this 81-year-old gentleman from our 65th and Morgan who shot in the leg. And at 81, I have to point out, he shot him in the leg, which he could have and had the right to kill him for being on his premises uninvited to harm him, which we would never know. But thankfully, he had a gun and knew how to use it, unlike some of the Chicago police who are out here killing people and they have no weapons. So we're about to go in the workout center now, and I'm going to cut the video off until I get inside and maybe capture a little bit of my workout, because as y'all know, for 2012, I'm all about healthier living, getting moving under the Michelle Obama Act, and I hope y'all stay tuned to the Queen Kee-Kee show, and I'm signing off for a minute. We will be back. Peace.